Why are my hard drives failing? I have a small Ubuntu server running at home, with 2 hard drives. There are 2 software RAIDs, RAID 1, on the disks, managed by mdadm, which I believe is irrelevant, but mentioning it anyway. Both of the hard drives are Western Digital, and have been used for around 2 years, when one of them started making clicking noises, and died. I figured that maybe it's natural after 2 years, so I bought a new one, and resynced the RAID arrays. After about a month, the other drive also died. I didn't get suspicious, since both drives have been bought at the same time. It's not that surprising to see both of them near each other, so I bought another one. So far, 2 old drives failed, and 2 brand new in the system. After 1 month, one of the new drives died. This is when it started getting suspicious. Since the PC was put together from some really old parts, think Athlonx, I figured that maybe the motherboard's SATA controller is the culprit. Of course you can't switch parts easily in an old PC like this, so I bought a whole system, new MB, new CPU, new RAM. Took the just failed drive back, since it was under warranty, and got it replaced. So it is up to 2 failed drives from the old ones, and 1 failed drive from the new ones. No problems, for 1 month. After that errors were creeping up again in /var/log/messages, and mdadm was reporting RAID array failures. I started tearing my hair out. Everything is new in the system, it's up to the 3rd brand new hard drive. It's simply not possible that all of the new drives that I bought were faulty. Let's see what is still common. The cables. Okay, long shot, let's replace the SATA cables. Take hard drive back, smile to the guy at the counter and say that I'm really unlucky. He replaces the hard drive. I come home, 1 month passes and one of hard drives fails, again. I'm not joking. 2 of the brand new hard drives have failed. Maybe it's a bug in the OS. Let's see what the manufacturer's testing tool says. Download testing tool, burn it to a CD, reboot, leave hard drive testing overnight. Test says that the drive is faulty, and I should back up everything, if I still can. I don't know what's happening, but it does not look like a software problem. Something is definitely thrashing the hard drives. I should mention now, that the whole system is in a shoebox. Since there are a load of build-your-own IKEA case stuff, I thought there shouldn't be any problems throwing the thing in a box, and stuffing it away somewhere. The box is well ventilated, but I thought that just maybe the drives were overheating. There is no other possible answer to this. So I took the hard drive back, and got it replaced, for the 3rd time, and bought hard drive coolers. And just now, I have heard the sound of doom. Click, click whizzs. SSH into the box. Made output. Recap. No possibility of overheating. 6 drives have failed, 4 of those have been brand new. I'm not sure now that the original 2 have been faulty, or suffered the same thing that the new ones. There is nothing common in the system, apart from the OS, which is Ubuntu Karmic now, started with Jaunty. New MB, new CPU, new RAM, new SATA cables. No, the little holes on the hard drive are not covered. I'm crying. Really? I don't have the face to return to the store now. It's not possible for 4 drives to fail under 4 months. A few ideas that I have been thinking. Is it possible that I mess up something when I partition and resync the drives? Can it be so bad that it physically wrecks the drive? Since the vendor supplied tool says that the drive is damaged, I do the partitioning with Fisk, and use the same block size for the RAID 1 partitions. I check the exact block sizes with Fisk glue. Is it possible that the Linux kernel or MDADM, or something is not compatible with this exact brand of hard drives, and thrashes them? Is it possible that it may be the shoebox? Try placing it somewhere else. It's under a shelf now, so humidity is not a problem either. Is it possible that a normal PC case will solve my problem? I'm going to shoot myself then. I will get a picture tomorrow. Am I just simply cursed? Any help or speculation is greatly appreciated. Edit, the power strip is guarded against overvoltage. Edit 2, I have moved in between these 4 months, so the possibility of the cause being dirty electricity in both places is very low. Edit 3. I have checked the voltages in the BIOS, couldn't borrow a multimeter, and they are all seem correct. The biggest discrepancy is in the 12V, because it's supplying 11.3. Should I be worried about that? Edit 4. I put my desktop PC's SU into the server. The BIOS reported much more accurate voltage readings, and also it has successfully rebuilt the RAID 1 array, which took some 3 to 4 hours, so I feel a little positive now. We'll get a new SU tomorrow to test with that. Also, attaching the picture about the box, disregard the 3rd drive.
Is your power supply old too? Perhaps it's under/overpowering the drive which is causing the failure. If you have a multimeter, I would try measuring the voltage that is running in your hard drives and watch it over a period of time. Another culprit may be dirty electricity, so ARPs may be in order so that it will clean the power going into the SU.
I agree with others' power. However, with a twist. All the components need to have a common ground. The chassis is typical, but in your case, who knows? A drifting ground would cause this, I'm sure. You want all the components tied to a single ground and that ground tied to the grounding from your facility's power grid ground. This is important. BTW, it is possible that all your old hardware is actually still okay. I have found that equipment that was served with a flaky power supply sometimes survives it okay when a proper supply is provided. I hope this helps. RT.
This is an old post and the original question may no longer be relevant to the person asking the question. However, for future reference to people building a budget PC, power is not an all-encompassing issue with disk drives. It is, in my professional opinion as an EMC certified implementation engineer, a misleading answer to blame a power supply as the sole responsible party given that the computer is inside of a cardboard box. Hard disks vibrate, and though there is no particular position, vertical or horizontal, that increases or decreases the longevity of a disk, there is, however, a vibration factor that a hard drive with spindles creates. The drives displayed here are just laying in a cardboard box. This is an example of budget engineering, and the vibrating drives are sitting on its side, further increasing the resonation on the platter. Though this isn't an answer in itself, improperly mounted hard disks may lead to a disk fault because of a vibrating platter disrupting the read and write heads from touching the platter correctly. Power. Cheap power supplies are always bad for computers in general. However, it is unlikely this will kill the hard drives and not other more sensitive components on the board. This system is in a cardboard box, so the engineering and power could have led to a more catastrophic failure, but not necessarily his disk fault. It's possible, but not proven in this case. Heat. Heat can destroy a disk. However, if it wasn't hot to the touch at the time of failure, heat is not the culprit. A cardboard box is not a good feat of engineering for a PC or server. You are better off bolting your parts onto a computer desk or workbench, at least they would be grounded. Soft RAID and cheap drives. Given the cardboard box and old parts viewed in the photo, you appear to be using standard desktop drives and a soft RAID. Desktop drives can be placed onto a RAID controller. However, with the increased I/O on the disk, the chance of a disk fault increases. The disks imaged in this case are not on a hardware RAID controller, but are being grouped together with a software component on the motherboard. This is not ideal for hard drives. This increases the workload on your CPU, and soft RAIDs have been known to have errors and kill hard drives prematurely. It is likely that the soft RAID killed these drives above all else. Prevention for future builds. If you are reading this and seeing this old user scenario via Google question or whatnot, ensure that your disks are properly mounted in a stable hard drive chassis. Bolt in your disks with at least 4 hard drive screws, or use a special disk sled that goes with your chassis. Ensure that you have adequate airflow in your case. Hard disks in a RAID tend to have more I/O on the disk, and will be much hotter than if the physical volume is mounted individually. Do not use a cheap power supply. Dirty power is a killer of expensive computer parts. Also ensure that your power supply provides enough wattage to handle the desired workload. Use a RAID controller card. Never use the soft RAID on your motherboard. Soft RAIDs reduce disk performance and increase the chance of disk failures more so than that of a RAID controller card. RAID in general increases chance of disk failure because of the increased I/O across all of your volumes. The larger the pool of disks being joined, the higher the chance of failed drives. If you RAID your drives, always make use of parity drives and hot spares. You may lose your data if you RAID 2 to 3 disks. If you have 3 disks, use RAID 5. 6 disks on RAID 5, 4 plus 1, with a hot spare is ideal if your drives are covered under a warranty. If you can't afford more disks or your disks are out of warranty, don't use RAID. Desktop drives are not enterprise drives. Desktop drives are similar to enterprise drives, but are not designed to handle huge workloads brought about with RAID controllers. If you buy desktop drives from Newegg and RAID them on your motherboard, you are likely to see at least one drive failure in your first year. The longer you operate your machine on a RAID, the more I/O is being written to disk and the higher the likelihood your volume will have failures. Combine cheap drives with cheap motherboard soft RAID and you will be hurting. It is likely that this user experienced all of these factors in his shoebox server. Cheap power, bad airflow, old cheap drives not properly mounted in a chassis, and a motherboard soft RAID. This all increases the chances of a disk fault.
I can't imagine how you have good ventilation and cooling in a shoebox. You really should shell out the $50 or $60 for a real computer case. Power strips only guard against power surges. Common problems for electronic equipment is undervoltage, brownout, and overvoltage, spiking. Also common is ME noise. We had an unstable computer a while back which turned out to be caused by having a treadmill on the same circuit. I personally verified this beyond doubt. It would kick the modem offline, and cause the system to just freeze up from time to time. Also, continual exposure to noise and fluctuations in the power supply would eventually damage the SU, over time, decreasing the quality of power delivered to the electronics. Edit. Electric power fluctuations can be isolated to specific circuits. More importantly, high-draw appliances such as microwaves, refrigerators, treadmills, stove and similar can have a significant impact on the power quality on that circuit. And things like fridges also have a continual on/off cycle of operation which by turn browns and spikes power on the line when the motor kicks in and out. Also, if you are being served by the same power company, they may be having ongoing trouble supplying voltage across the board. Constantly fluctuating between 105V and 125V will have a negative effect on electronics, as I understand it.